Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zwende with your technology and social media news. We hope you still are staying indoors and keeping to those lockdown conditions so we don't further spread COVID-19. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you about those smartphones that you have used in the past, especially those that no longer exist. This as LG has said that they are no longer going to be continuing with their smartphone division. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up tonight. We go to Hoedspruit, where female rangers are using technology to fight poaching. We find out about a partnership between TikTok and the South African Music Rights Organization. And in our conversation, we chat to Tepo Chabalala from Wits University about why a lot of video streaming services are not doing well. This as we have found out that Netflix isn't doing as well as expected. Smartphone technology has been deployed in a game park in Hoedspruit in South Africa, where female rangers are helping in the fight against poaching.
These are the young women that form part of a team of virtual rangers who are committed to keeping animals safe from poachers by using smartphones. The all-female anti-poaching unit called Black Mambas has been protecting South Africa's wildlife since 2013. Now, they have tens of thousands of virtual rangers worldwide helping them with this task.
We are dealing with poachers that are professional people. They've been to the army, they know how to use weapons, and we know nothing about it. And people who can walk long distance, come inside the reserve, kill a rhino in 5 minutes, they're out. So this is a big change to us, but it's a change that we want to bring out to people.
According to a Swiss-based environmental network, International Union for Conservation of Nature, reserves across Africa have had to cut back on anti-poaching patrols due to a coronavirus-induced tourism lull that has hit funding. In efforts to ease the workload, South Africa's Balule Nature Reserve has teamed up with handset manufacturer Samsung and tech pioneer Africam to supplement staff numbers with eyes and ears online.
This virus, people are not able to come in and see the animals, but we can use the cameras to remind them that the animals are still there and they need you to watch out for them.
Numbers can only be effective if they can use their senses, because that's, we don't arm them. We rely on their eyes and their ears and their various other senses. Fortunately, the human being hasn't evolved to be able to see at night and to see things quickly and this kind of thing, and it's what I call human bias. So you'll walk past something that you might not have noticed. I can only cover certain sections of the park at certain times of the day or night. I need technology to fill the gaps, and it's not just a spatial thing, it's a temporal thing as well.
Over 55,000 people have become virtual rangers since the project Wildlife Watch went live in March 2021. Viewers of the park's streaming service have already reported hearing gunshots, signaling the possibility of poachers, and alerted rangers to trapped animals needing rescue.
It's amazing what smartphones can help us do. Now, during lockdowns all over the world, a lot of people took to their smartphones again to make videos, a lot of which trended all over the world, and they were uploaded on TikTok. Some of those people would upload music to go with those videos as well. Remember the Tutuzane Zuma Imali challenge? Remember John Vuligate as well? They all became popular because of those videos that trend. But you find that sometimes the musicians that make the music that kept us going during our lockdowns all over the world don't really get paid for it. So TikTok has partnered with the South African Music Rights Organization to try and fix this. A lot of us wouldn't have made it through the hard lockdown without some of those entertaining TikTok videos and challenges. Remember the Big Zulu and Tutuzane Zuma Mali Eningi challenge? Perhaps John Vuligate. Maybe the Jerusalem challenge.
I don't know if the challenges would have been as big as they were if we weren't in a pandemic and in a lockdown. You know, people had ample time in their hands. We're trying everything to not just be stuck in a rut and sit there and be depressed, you know. So we wanted to play different games, and that's where the challenges came in. And, you know, everybody had fun. You know, we laughed. We saw people who never thought we'd see dancing.
While it's music by South African musicians that would get used for these challenges, performers and composers of the work wouldn't get paid. But the South African Music Rights Organization has come up with a deal that can help. It's not just Samro that is partnering with TikTok. The Composers, Authors and Publishers Association, or CAPASO, says they too have negotiated a deal for all their territories across Africa.
You've seen a lot of musicians and composers losing a revenue stream. As a result, CAPASO comes in to cover that gap by entering into licensing agreements with a number of streaming services as well as social media platforms, which will allow composers and authors of music to earn royalties from across the continent.
While musicians will benefit from this deal, there are those who feel some songs wouldn't be as popular had it not been because of TikTok. They think it played a huge role in getting them to the public.
The example of Imaleningi, for example, question is, without that TikTok, without the challenge, would the song have gone as far as it had? You know what I mean? So then that song by Big Zulu and Intabase Dubai and Ricky Rick, I believe has elevated the song to go as far as it has and create X amount of revenue.
Even so, once the music is out there, musicians would still like to get paid for their work.
We're artists and everyone would like the rands and cents at the end of the day.
Your song can trend all it wants, but does it reflect in the bank? That is the main question. So if TikTok wants to pay them currency, I think that is great. So TikTok is great to make your song popular, and we can use that now as a platform to push your song to be popular and also that you get paid.
Master KG with the song Jerusalem, they are now on this campaign of trying to get the music from all those businesses that have used the Jerusalem challenge to kind of brand themselves and elevate their brand. That is a business transaction. So that business side, I'm totally agreeable with the partnership between TikTok and Samro.
There are similar TikTok deals across the world, and some, especially in America, are with record labels. It's amazing how things take a life of their own once they are online. Alright, so in the last year we've had to get used to face masks. We keep on getting told that these will protect us against the spread of COVID-19. But sometimes you find that they can be boring and mundane. There are people who are now adding technology to make them cool for us to want to wear them. A year ago, we had to get used to face masks. It was touch and go on how to even put one on, as President Cyril Ramaphosa also failed publicly once. In South Africa, the law prescribes that we have them on at all times in public spaces.
I wear the disposable mask because I feel like it's much simpler to take it off if I want to take it off. But when I'm running, I'm usually wearing a buffer, which normally just covers from like just below my eyes right down.
There are those who say they can't breathe under them or feel they circulate used air. But now there are alternatives to the cloth mask that can help with some of our complaints. Think of a mask that uses technology to purify the air we breathe. Fitness trainer Mqobi Kunene is trying out one.
I think it looks pretty cool as a mask. I haven't seen anything like this before. Honestly, I think the Koreans have done their job here, a very good job. It's got silicone that sits inside, which I think is obviously just for letting the mask sit properly on the face. You can obviously take this off easily. right, and then put it back. It's got magnetic here at the top, which makes it easier to sit. And then on the outside you've got your 2 filters which you can take out easily. You can change these every month. And then behind the filters you've got fans as well, which help with purifying the air that you breathe.
Touching 126 grams, I felt this is heavy to be constantly walking around with. But Mobi says it was fine for him to run with the LG Puricare.
Yes, I did find it challenging in the beginning because there's like a lot of air that comes in here when you run, especially if you have it on level 3.
Of course, most people aren't fitness addicts and would need them just for their everyday use, not for jogging. Also, when working out, some people want to listen to music. This means the mask would then be separate from the headphones. The godfathers of Deep House say they've managed to get something that combines the two.
It's the technology called bone conduction technology. It doesn't use your conventional speaker technology, but it is designed in such a way that when it touches your bone, the sound goes straight into your eardrums, bypassing the ear, so you get quality sound. It doesn't reduce in volume despite the environment you find yourself in. That volume becomes very constant in your eardrums because it goes directly into your eardrums.
The speakers extend if needed. They say it does not have to be near the ears, as is the case with ordinary headphones.
How many people do you know that have been bumped by cars because they were cycling or jogging? So this again adds in enhancing the safety, mitigating the risk of being in an environment where you want to be alone but in touch with the world.
We are constantly finding out about new ways of improving them for the individual experience. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we find out why a lot of people are not streaming video content as it was believed would happen. We find out how this can be improved. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome back. Now, SA Tourism and Netflix are now in a partnership to create content that will attract tourists to South Africa. The two say that this will be focused on key territories where people would come from. Those are the people that would usually visit South Africa. Now, we also heard recently that Netflix is considering stopping people from sharing their pins in order for them to watch the platform. They say that this has already started in some areas. There are viewers in certain territories who say that they have started receiving notifications that are asking them whether they are related to the owner of the password or to the owner of the account that they would be using. It seems like they are trying to only allow people who live in the same household to share Netflix accounts. Now, joining us to further this discussion is Tepo Chabalala. He is director of GemLab at Wits University. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network, Tepo. Now, why would Netflix want to stop people who don't live in the same household from sharing accounts?
Ultimately, Netflix wants to grow its subscriber base. It currently has over 200 million subscribers on its platform, but with this new rule where they want to take away the free viewership, they want to convert those free viewers into subscribers. And so what you will see in the short term is that Netflix will lose eyeballs on their TV shows because they would have lost these free viewers on their platforms. But over time, you will see these free viewers coming back and becoming subscribers onto Netflix. And that's the big goal for Netflix, to bring these or to convert these free viewers into paying subscribers. And what that will translate to will be Netflix increasing their subscribers, but also getting in revenue to support better production or increased viewership. And that's what we really need to focus on, the bigger goal, the bigger picture of what Netflix is trying to achieve.
Now, Tepo, will this not kill the trust between Netflix and those that use the platform?
There's this unwritten social contract amongst Netflix users. that Netflix would never introduce a password sharing ban on its platform. But we've also seen or learned from media reports that Netflix has been investigating ways of implementing some form of control on its platform. One that wouldn't hurt subscribers, and two, would still continue to grow its subscriber base. And what we've also seen over the years is that there are two camps in this challenge, that they are paying subscribers and there are free users. And the free users, this is where we talk about trust now, that the trust is lost with the free users who have been using the platform for free for over the past few years, and now Netflix is asking them to become paying subscribers, and that's where the trust is lost. I doubt there is a lot of trust. There's little to no trust lost with the current paying subscribers. And what we need to understand is that for Netflix to be what it is, it needs to convert the free subscribers into paying subscribers, and that will convert or translate to better revenue for Netflix, which will help with them producing better content, will help with better production, which translates to great productions that we are receiving as customers. And a happy customer means Netflix can continue producing content from this revenue they would be getting from all paying subscribers.
Thinking about the African continent, for example, TV is still really popular in Africa. If you look at South Africa, for example, Uzalo reached 11 million viewers. Netflix doesn't come close to those numbers. Do you think we'll ever see a day when people ditch TV in Africa for these over-the-top services?
I think it's a hybrid. These two services can coexist. On the one hand, you have traditional broadcast television, where you have your news channels and current affairs and sports. And on the other hand, you have video on-demand services, which include TV shows and movies. And the big driver for video on-demand services is internet penetration and affordable data costs. And with these building blocks and greater and better infrastructure, you'll see the growth of video on-demand platforms. But there's still a gap that video on-demand may want to fill, and that is having live broadcast on its platforms. And that was what will bridge the gap between traditional broadcast television and video on-demand.
All right, Tepo Chabalala, Director of GemLab at Wits University. Thank you very much for being a part of our network. And with that, let's take a quick break. News Network at SABC.co.za on email. Welcome back. Now here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the technology space.
Last year, Ivorian comedian Anga Freddy was aiming to get 50 million views for his online sketches. He achieved double the figure on Facebook alone and became a top target for advertisers.
Donc quand moi je poste, l'année passée je me disais que faut forcément que je fasse minimum 1 million de vues. Donc je visais les 50 millions de vues et heureusement dans la grâce de Dieu avec l'équipe on a pu faire le double, donc 100 millions de vues. Et cette année par exemple je vise la qualité dans mes vidéos, c'est-à-dire que une meilleure écriture, une meilleure qualité.
And that's why Anga Freddy is strapped in. He's already making a living off what some say may come in the future. And now in Dubai, a robot armed with virus-killing ultraviolet light is being tested on Swiss airplanes. Yet another idea aiming to restore passenger confidence and spare the travel industry more pandemic pain. Uveya, a Swiss startup, is trialing the robots with Dubai-based airport service company.
It's quite an old technology, but it's quite dangerous. That's why we want to take the worker out of the range of the light. So that's why we made a robot, because there is some solution when you are near the light, and that's dangerous. So we really had to make this system autonomous. So we switch it on, You leave, the machine makes the disinfection, all the plane, all around, and then it stops automatically. So the workers are not in contact with the machine. And also UVC doesn't make any traces or chemistry. So that's also very important for the traveler, that you know that you have a safe place and there is no chemical residue on the seats or everywhere.
According to Elmiger, aircraft makers still must certify the devices and are studying the impact their UV light may have on interior upholstery, which could fade after many disinfections. And now in the US. PayPal Holdings announced that it has started allowing US consumers to use their cryptocurrency holdings to pay at millions of its online merchants globally, a move that could significantly boost use of digital assets in everyday commerce.
In PayPal, we are in crypto because we do believe that digital currencies will be a fundamental driver in the evolution toward a more inclusive financial system, and that we can contribute to make these digital currencies more accessible and useful to consumers and businesses. And our launch today of Checkout with Crypto is part of that effort.
PayPal's launch comes weeks after Tesla said it would start accepting Bitcoin payments for its cars. Unlike PayPal transactions where merchants will be receiving fiat currency, Tesla said it will hold the Bitcoin used as payment.
Over the years, there have been many phone brands that have become popular but are no longer there. And you can think of Nokia, you can think of BlackBerry, maybe you can think of Ericsson. Now, LG has said that they are discontinuing their smartphone division. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you about phones that you have used in the past. 52% of those that responded to our poll say they've owned a Nokia phone before. That's in the majority. At 33% are those of you who say you've owned a BlackBerry. At 8% are people who say they've owned an Ericsson phone before. And in last place, and at 7%, are people who've picked Motorola. And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me, Spumelele Zondi and the rest of the network team. Stay home and stay safe. Have a good one. It's good night.